Hey everyone, Matthew from Streamr here. In the last few videos we created an Ethereum price watcher, and then we created this trading signal which essentially buys the dip if there is one in the last 15 seconds. So in this tutorial we are going to add crypto Twitter sentiment into this trading signal to make it a bit smarter. So let's go ahead and go into our streams. And let's create a new stream called ETH Sentiment. This is all we need to do. I'm going to copy the stream ID because we'll need that later. But I'll just hit save and exit. And the next thing we will do is let's start up, let's create a node script. So we will we can run npm init, and we'll run through these defaults, they don't matter, and we'll want to install these two packages, Streamr client and sentiment. So this is Streamr client here, you can find it on npm, and this is just a random sentiment Node.js based sentiment analyzer. You can use whatever you want, but this one works for me. Great, so we will open our code editor now, and I will create a new file, scripty.js. This was the stream ID that I copied from before. I will just make a note of that this is the sentiment stream ID. And if we go back, we can copy and paste the sentiment initializer. Great, now let's just double check that it works as expected. Running node scripty.js. So you will need npm and node. I'm running on the Mac environment. You can run it on Windows as well. You just need those prerequisites set up. So this sentiment library returns a comparative value, which looks like the best one for us. So we'll keep that in mind as we progress. So the next thing we want to do is subscribe to the Twitter raw data feed from the marketplace. So let's go ahead and find that. So I've already searched for Twitter, and I'm going to run into this product here, and I'm after the Ethereum tweets stream. I'm going to view the live data. This looks good. I'm after this text. This is what we'll run the sentiment analyzer on. I am going to copy the stream ID, this icon in the top right. We will call this the Twitter stream ID. Great. Okay, and now we should consult the Streamr client documentation. Over here, we can go straight into the repository and into the examples folder. We're running in Node, and we want this node example subscribe. This is a really good boilerplate that we can again copy and paste. And so okay, so I need an API key as well, so that's something we need to grab. So I'll go back to the browser, hop out of this, and go to my profile menu to API keys. From here, I'm going to click on the hamburger menu and copy the key, and I'll paste it in. Great. Okay, so let's modify what we copy and pasted. So we don't need this get or create stream. We already have the stream. All we need is this client subscribe actually. So let's trim around. And we need to replace this stream ID with Twitter stream ID. We'll remove this console log. And so what this will do is it will subscribe to our Twitter stream. We don't need the resend actually. And it will console log the message. So we know that we want the text of the tweet. So we'll add that text to make things a bit nicer. Go back to my terminal and I will run my trusty scripty. Great, so now we have the tweets come in. All that's left to do is run the sentiment analyzer over it and then push it to a new stream. So let's go ahead and copy this line. This is what we want. Var result equals sentiment.analyze. Cats are not stupid. We are going to use message.text instead. And now we need to publish this to our sentiment stream ID. So this is, you can consult the docs, but this is quite simple. It's just, instead of client.subscribe, it's client.publish this time. And it requires, as the first argument, the ID, and the second argument is the value. But there's one gotcha in that we can't put the value directly in here. It needs to be an object. So let's do that now. And what should we call this? We should probably call this sentiment. Why not? So now let's run through this script. We've created a Streamr client. It's subscribed to our Twitter stream that we saw on the marketplace, and for every message that we receive, every message that's detected on this stream, it's going to run a sentiment analyzer on this, and it's going to publish that result to this new stream. Now, there's one thing I forgot. That's to add comparative, because in the sentiment library, here we go, the returned object, we want this comparative score. It seems like the most sensible thing to use anyway. So I will save. I will cross my fingers and run the script again. Okay, so with any luck, we can now go back to the core app and click on our sentiment stream. And great, okay, so our sentiment scores are coming through. So that's exactly what we wanted. So for each tweet, we have calculated a sentiment and we've pushed it to this stream. So let's go forward. We're going to go back to our canvases, to our Ethereum trading signal canvas. I can stop it now because we need to make some additions to it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll add our sentiment stream that we just created. And we're going to need some additional modules so that we can make sense of this. So we'll need a greater than, and we will need an and module. So we'll plug in the sentiment into the a input of greater than, and we'll do it so that as long as the sentiment is, say, positive, so above 0, a very low bar, we'll set this to true. And we can also add a moving average because we want to not make this is quite frivolous, but we want to make sure that the trading signal is not based on the very last tweet. We can say make it so that it's based on the last 3 tweets, for example. So I just need to switch this order around actually. So the sentiment comes into our moving average, the window length, let's say 3 tweets, minimum sample size 3 tweets. Connect the output to the A of the greater than input and keep B as 0. And now we should disconnect our existing trading signal input. Disconnect all, right click disconnect all. And we're going to put this AND symbol and module in between. So our less than still comes into the AND, and our new greater than sentiment analyzer will come into the B input. And this AND module, if A will output true, if A and B are true, if either are false, the output will be false. So this looks good to me. And now we can connect it all up. And before I hit start, I will just add a chart and a table. So these are good to have just to kind of see how the data is moving, and also to use as a dashboard, which I'll show you in a moment. And now, because this output is a Boolean, we can't connect it directly to a chart, but lucky for us, there is a converter module called Boolean to number, and we just need to pass through this value. So now 0 is false and 1 is true, so it can be charted. So I'm going to hit start and wait a few moments. So this will take some time to get the minimum number of events necessary to go through the delay and go through the moving average. I'll come back to that. But in dashboards, what we can do is we can basically pick out our visualizations from our running canvases. So if I click our module or our dashboard browser, we can find our canvas. It was called ETH trading signal, and we can choose our chart and we can choose our table. So this is our trading signal, and this is the trading signal visualized in a chart. So whenever the chart shows 1, it's a buy signal, and when it's 0, it will be a don't buy, I guess. And that pretty much concludes our trading signal. So we've now, I think, created a pretty interesting trading signal. This will just kind of run forever as long as the canvas is running. Just to recap, we have in the top half, this is a buy the dip sort of logic, and the bottom half is monitoring the crypto Twitter sentiment, and if it's positive over the last 3 tweets, then we kind of pass on this thumbs up to this AND module, which combines those 2 pieces of information and makes a decision whether or not to advise a trade. There you go. Please do not trade this bot. I'm sure it'll lose you a lot of money, but you can kind of see where this is going. All these parameters can be configured. You can make some really interesting scalping bots or monitoring certain prices, and yeah, you can create new products on the marketplace. If your trading signals are good, you can put a price on the data. You can extract from a marketplace product and enhance it and repackage it into a new product. You can do a lot of things in the core app, and I really encourage experimentation, and please share your canvases, please share your results, and I wish you the best and good luck, and thanks for watching.